Hey folks, how you doing? Cyrus here, and today I want to talk about color grading. So I promised that I would make one episode about the intermediate level of color grading. That's what I call it. Maybe it's not an intermediate. Maybe it's just above a bit of being a beginner. But this is how I actually prepare my videos. So I record my videos in Sony S-Log3, which I possess, and Alpha 7 S3, and it actually gives me that Sony S-Log3, and it's really easy to work with, and it actually gives me the power to work with the video that I have, and it's just a fantastic tool. So I just put my videos in edit section, and I add it into the timeline. I come to the color section, and from now on I want to talk all about color grading. So this is the first node that we have. And normally I add two other nodes and I put it underneath the first node. So the first node is always going to be about noise reduction. Sometimes you're going to just shoot some videos at night and there will be a lot of noise. If you don't have such a beautiful camera like Alpha 7S3, you may have a bit of noise. Even with this camera, I would have noise. But in noise reduction, we can actually get rid of it pretty much easily if you have this version of Davinci Resolve, which has the motion effects, and you can go to the noise reduction section. But I'm not going to use it now, but I always have it because my workflow has a kind of like a structure which is so solid for myself, and it helps me to remember what I have to do all the time, what I need to add and what I have to do. So we have the second node is always going to be for the primaries, the color wheels. I always do all the changes here, like adding gains or gamma or whatever, the contrast, the saturation or whatever, but not now. So I'm going to just reset the node grade. The third node is going to be about color space transform, which I'm going to explain it later if you don't know anything about it. So afterwards, I add another node, which is going to be our fourth node. So the fourth node is going to be about correcting the colors in the video that are not that good, like the skin color, like the colors that are around me, like, I don't know, the color of the sleeves or my shirt or whatever. So I always add a parallel node to this node, and I would add another one as well. So I always have three nodes for correcting whatever is in the picture, and I never had any video that it might take another one to add here. So I always add three and I move to the other one. So this is the eighth node that we have here. This is going to be for our vignette. So this is the inside node, so we need to add an outside node for it. And when you do it, you can add another one, and it's going to be for the 10th node and the last node that we have. Sometimes we might add another one, but for now we don't need it. And it's going to be for the global changes for color grading. So all of the things that we do here is for color correction. This is how I do it, and for giving a good look to the video that we have. And the last node, or the last two nodes, going to be for color grading section. Anyway, let's get started and see how things are actually working with my picture. So first we need to add color space transform, and we'll put it into the third node. And we just click on it, and there will be a setting, and now we want to work with this part. So for input color space, based on your camera, it's all about your camera setting. It's all about the way that your camera is working. So if you're a Blackmagic user, you should use one of these, or Arri Alexa is going to be there, a Davinci Wide Gamut, I don't know, DJI, Panasonic, and Sony is here, and Canon also is here, but I cannot find it. But anyway, I always use Sony S-Gamma 3. So this is my setting. This is the setting that I use on my own camera, and I just put it like this. See, there's a changes here. It gives a bit of color to my video. This is the setting that I use on my camera, and now I have to adjust it here as well. So for input gamma, I will go with, you see, Canon log 3 and the Panasonic, the Nikon analog. For me, is going to be Sony S-Log3. So when I put the input gamma, you see it gives live to my video. So the output color space is going to be Rec 709. And if you don't know what is this, you can go and just search it on YouTube. There will be a lot of video about that. You can watch it. And for output gamma, I put it on gamma 2.4. For tone mapping, the tone mapping method is going to be luminance mapping. I don't know, but it always corrects some footage that I have, not with Sony S7, Sony Alpha 7 S3, but when I was working with other footages from other camera of mine, the luminous mapping would gives a bit of correction to the picture. I don't know how, but it would give it. So for gamma mapping method, I put it on saturation compression. So this is all I learned from Qazi from his masterclass. And color space transform is kind of like the lot that might you use on your footage. So let me just let us do this. If I disable this one, and if I go and so this is 3D lots. This is my own lots. Where was it? Yeah, this is the Arri Alexa Rec 709 that I used to use before knowing what is color space transform. But after knowing that, I would just go straightly for the S-Log3 and stuff like that. So yes, this is a Sony section, and this is going to be the Cinetone, S-Gamma 3, S-Gamma 3, and S-Log2. So if I was using S-Log3 and I wanted to just put a lot and then work with this node, that would be like this. This is going to be the starting point of me working with all these nodes, but with color space transform, it was a little bit different. Just look the difference. So it makes things a lot more easier for me. The base method is kind of like beautiful with color space transform. So I stopped using lots, and I was mostly using a color space transform after the masterclass. Anyway, so this is how it works. And afterwards, we come to the second node, and we want to work with the primary wheels, and I want to show you why. So first I need to just make my picture little here to bring the scopes in. Scopes are going to be so important. It gives you a lot of information about what is going on in your picture. So forget about the thing that we have here. Just look at the scopes. And the scopes, it says that there are a lot of reds into our picture. Yes, there are some. My face is a little bit red. The light is here, which is the highlight in this section, and my shirt is here. You see, the greens are here, and there's a red above those greens, and so you see the green here, and there's some red above the green, and this is the blue that we have here. And mixing all of that things together, it gives us a very beautiful white line here, which says we don't need to make any adjustment to correct whatever that we have here, because these colors are kind of like just fine. The white balance in our picture is totally okay. And later on, maybe I can, I don't know, make another video to explain how we can actually do this color correction beautifully. But with the setup that we have here with the background, which is totally black, and it gives a good separation to our picture, and the lighting that I put here, you can see it here. I cannot remove it, but there's a good lighting in our picture as well. So the white balance of this video is just fine. So there are no need to correct anything. But this is a bit dark into my eyes, and the scopes can say that as well. The waveform can say that as well. If you want to just add a bit of highlight, and make it more puppy, they should come close to 896, not 512. So for doing that, what should we do? We need to add more gain here. And when we do that, you see, it becomes just fine. But we don't want to do it a lot, because if we do it a lot, we might lose details. So based on your taste, you just need to park it somewhere around here to actually have the details all together, and it is poppy as well. So there are a lot of white into my picture, which I don't like, and you know, just look at the walls. They're white in the walls, and I don't want it. So how can we actually get rid of that? We should go to the gamma section, and we should bring down our gamma. So to the point that we want to keep the whiteness all together, and we don't want it to be that white. So we need to add more gain and bring the gamma down, and maybe a bit more, and maybe bring the gamma more down. Just try to work with it to see the walls in a perfect way that you like. I think I'm okay now. I shot this video in the morning, and there's some problems with it. I can see it now, like I didn't notice that before, but I always shoot my videos at night, and because of that, my lightings are coming from the right side of the camera, which has to bring highlights to the right side of my face into the video. But because I'm so close to the window, my left eye has a lot of highlights for itself, but there's no problem with that. It's just okay. So what should we do? I think we need to add a bit of contrast here to make more separation from ourselves on the background, and we might like to add a bit of saturation as well. It gives a good look to our picture. So this is just okay. This is just okay. I always leave it just like this when we get to this part. And then, so we did the color space transform, and we did the primaries. So if you actually enable this, it became like this in the after section. And then the primaries, we have this one, which is fine. The next things that we have to do, from the third node, we come to a fourth node. So this was for, I may put this here and make myself a bit bigger. Anyway, the fourth node. The fourth node is for correcting the skin color and stuff like that. So you see there are a lot of red here. This is not me. This is not my skin color. This is far more red than I am myself. And look at my hands. Look at my hands that are more red than possible. Just look at my face. I'm totally pale and white, but this is red. So what should we do? We need to go to qualifiers, and we need to pick some of this skin color here, and you can actually see it like this, that it chose a good part of it. This is all I need. But you see, some red are here and some red are there. If you think you can actually do something with this as well, this is kind of cool, because this is now orange. This is not yellow like always in my video. So what I need to do is to go to this section, and then I have to choose hue versus saturation, and then I would choose red, and I would just bring down the saturation to the level that I see goodness. See, this is sucking all the red from the picture, and this is adding a lot of it, but we want some balance. We want to find our skin. This is me. All right, this is me. I can actually add more, and now this is a lot better. Just look at my hands. Look at my hands here. See? Before, after, before, after. This is still too red. But anyway, just look at my forehead. It was before, and this is after. And this is a lot closer to my skin color than this one. There are a lot of red in it. So there are a lot of red in there and there are a lot of greens in there, so we need to take care of that as well. But you know, when we actually try to select something in the picture, we can do it all together because of the difference that they have. See, this part is not that cool. So what we can do here is try to select more of this part. Actually, I need to undo this. And we need to do this for having a better color. See, now it only affects this part, not that part. And then in the fifth node, we go for this little part. And we want to choose what we have here. You see? All right, this is better. But when we do this, this little color in the picture, which is the photo that Kamran took, is actually it affects that part as well. It affects the color of the light as well. It affects lots of different things in the picture, which we don't want to change them. So because our picture is totally stable and we're not changing any part in there, we can go to this part and we can only select ourselves. You see? These are the other parts, and this is us, only my face. We can soften it, and this is cool. We can do this, and we can go to hue versus saturation, and I see even we can leave this here, and we can go for the tint and add a bit of magenta to it. See, this is green, and this is all magenta. So it should be somewhere in between, and we can take a closer look. See, this is green, which we don't like it, but this is much more closer to my own skin color. I can even add more and leave it all there. And this is much more natural than this. Look at this mess. See, this is all neutral now. So a lot of red here, a lot of green here, but we don't want it like that. We want it just as beautiful as this one. See? First, you neutralize this part, and then this is green, and it becomes just fine here. And now it's more neutral, more beautiful. And there's some problem with my hands as well. I don't want my hands to be like that at all. So I comes to the sixth node and I try to, okay, this is not the qualifier that we have. We need to just undo it and we need to go for that part. And we can only see there is still a bit of this part of my head as well, which is close to this red, which I don't like. And I can go more like that, and I need to blur it a little bit for softening everything. And then I can come here, I can go straight to this part, and I can suck the other red as well. Again, hue versus saturation, which is red, and we bring the red. See? Now this is all better. Cool. But I think it affected my face as well. So it actually ruined the parts that we didn't want it to. So what we can do here again, so first let us just work with this. This is more of a natural color that we're looking. And my hands are not really into frame that much. So what we can do here is finding my hands again, and then somewhere leave it there, and all we can do is to select only this part. So whatever is happening underneath this line is going to be affected. And because my hands are not coming up of this line at all, I can just park it there and it no more affects my face. And we're just fine. Cool. So this is all we've done with this parallel node here. This is the correction that we applied to our picture. So it was before, you can see it for yourself, and then we added this, we neutralized this part, and there was this green part here, we neutralized this part, and there was my hand, which is so bad, and we neutralized that part as well. And this is my skin color, which I really like to be like that, and actually it is like that. Do not look at the picture that we have here in the in my camera, because I really changed the setting. I just made it a bit warmer, but this is the picture that it should be like that. Anyway, we're kind of cool with everything we got here, and this is actually the last part. I always add a bit of vignette to my picture to make it more poppy and to actually eliminate the noise in the picture, to separate myself more from the background. So I just put a circle around myself, I invert it, and I soften it. Okay. And then I would come to the curve section, and I would suck down a bit of the highlights that we have, and then I would add a bit highlight. So because I shot this in the morning, I didn't care that it was morning. I just wanted to shoot the video. But the problem is that there are too much highlights on the left side of my face, which is normally is not there. And in all my videos, the highlights are on the right side. But that's okay. That's totally fine. And I can park it right there. And you see the difference for yourself. It can actually bring more attention to the subject, which is me, and not the background, and it sucks all these extra highlights from the background. And we're good to go. We're good to go. We did all the corrections that we needed to do. So we added this one. We worked with primaries, fixing the skin color, and then we added a bit of vignette, and we did all the color correction. We corrected all these colors, and then we're just okay. Yep. Just take a look at my skin color. It is okay. It's totally neutralized in a way that I like it. Anyway, let's go to the last node. So the last node is going to be about color grading. And the color grading is all the reason that we normally start watching these master classes and going for learning more. And all the things about color grading, it comes down to one thing: your personal desires. How do you like your colors to be? What kind of environment do you want to make? Do you want it dark? Do you want it very poppy? Do you want it warm? Do you want it cold? Do you want it contrasty? What kind of characteristic do you want to give to your pictures? In more of cinema, there are different style of color grading that you always watch, and you might like one of the looks in the movies. Then you have to just calm down and do the shot matching thing and try to just make it as close to the colors as you like. But normally in cinema, people are doing the color grading less than what you can think of, because they always have a good set and a good lighting, and it gives a lot of characteristic before the pre-production, and it happens in the production itself. But let's just play with the wheels to just do things that we like to do, and just let me explain what's happening in here, and it might be useful for you. So in the lift section, the lift is all about the dark parts into our pictures. So let me just off this one. Okay. It's all about the shadows. The lift is all about the shadows, and the offset is all about everything that we got in the picture. So mostly when I want to do color grading, I always play with gain and gamma. The colors in the midtones here, I want to do everything here, not the background. Let me just play with the lift. See, the shadows. There are too much shadows into my picture. I have a very dark background, and when I play with lift, it changes everything. Maybe if you're just shooting outside, you can play with all of them and you can make it so poppy. But when I'm playing with everything that we got inside, I don't need highlights. Highlights are not that big here. I don't need shadows, you know, that big parts. I don't want them. But I want to play with whatever that we got in between. So first I go for gamma and I try to hit it with a bit of yellow. This is the style that I like. So we can work with it to the point that we feel it's okay. For instance, this is before and I added more yellow to my picture, and I want to play with gain and just trying to cool it a little bit. And I might go towards blue or cyan more of it, but not a lot. I don't want to just do it like this. I don't want to mess with everything. I just want to do it more cinematic into my eyes. And this is cinematic enough to me. So this is kind of like before. Everything we got in the picture is balanced. The white balance is okay. Before color grading, you don't want to just mess with color grading before having a good white balance. But when you get everything neutralized and beautiful and whatever I shot in the picture was just like this, now when I add color grading, it feels just like that. And is enough cinematic into my eyes. Maybe I like to add a bit of tint to it. See, if I add magenta, it's just going to be like that, and the bit tint is going to be like that. So I want to add a bit of tint, but not a lot, not a lot. And I want to just warm it a little bit. This is going to be cooler than what you think. This is going to be warmer, but I want to do it very, very little, just like this. And it's going to be, okay, so this is before. This is what we had in the picture, and this is the color grading that we got here. And we added a bit of characteristic to our picture. Anyway, maybe I like to add a bit of contrast. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. I just want to do it a little bit. And then we're good to go. And I feel there are too much highlights into my face, which I don't like normally. So we can come to the highlight section and we can suck a bit of that highlight. If we suck it a lot, that would be like this, and we add more. So I want to start from the 0 and just suck it a bit. Then it's going to be fine. Or maybe more. When I do more, it brings more details back, and I like the details. So this is 10-bit footage from Sony Alpha 7S III. It means that I can work with it in a way that it feels totally okay. There's a bit of magenta here as well. Just let me see. Okay. Now it's better, I feel. Maybe bring that. Okay. I don't know. This is better. This is all better into my eyes, and I like it. And even I can add more pop here based on what I see. And this is gonna be the color grading things that we had so far all together. So this is all based on what you like. What do you want to do with your picture? Not I'm not really relying on other styles or other people's idea. I just want to do what it feels right into my eyes. Even I'd like to add a bit of gain to this picture. I don't know, for instance, or I want to just bring down a bit of the gamma. So it all depends on my desires and how I want to decorate my picture. But this is just good. This is all I wanted to do. I normally don't do color grading on my videos. I just leave them like very balanced and neutral. But now it feels just okay. So thank you for watching. This is the end of the section that we had, and we didn't do anything with the 11th node. And so far so good. I hope you learned enough from this video. If you have any question, just ask it. I will make more videos about it, don't worry. And that's it. That's the end of it. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a good time. See you later. Bye-bye.